Hello all you lovely people and welcome to another video of mine. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Marvel's Spider-Man but Miles Morales. In my previous video, I covered Marvel's Spider-Man 2, but in this video, I'm going to be talking about Miles Morales. Now, I had complaints about the optimization that they had done on Spider-Man 2 because if you've played this on the Legion Go, then you would know that it's not exactly a great optimized game. But Miles Morales, on the other hand, actually is. And that's exactly what we're going to see in the video today. Now, before we start the video, just a few things that I want to quickly mention. Number one is that although you see 25.3.1 here, I'm actually playing with 25.3.2. Now, in case you're wondering how is that the case? So let me just get into the settings here. And let me show you that the primary GPU that I have going for me on the Legion Go is the Haltech Alpha eGPU right here. Now this is an external GPU that I have hooked up with my Legion Go, and this obviously comes with the RX 7600M XT, and I'm using this as the primary GPU, and the driver version that you have for this is actually 25.3.2. So that's the driver version that I actually went in for. I know it says 24.30.31, no, but actually when you download the driver version from their own website, you would note that it's 25.3.2. So that's something that I want to quickly mention. And apart from that, yes, I do have 780M, but that's the integrated GPU. I'm not using that for this game. If I use this, then obviously I would not be able to game at 1440p, and I would not be getting the performance that I'm supposed to be getting. But here, you would note that the performance that I would be getting on this is absolutely phenomenal. Now, in terms of gaming, yes, I did go into the game and I did set a few things up. Like for instance, I have enabled all these settings that I would even when I am not playing with an external GPU. But in this case, I just wanted to try and get the maximum out of it. So I've enabled some of these settings. If you want to take a look at the most optimized settings that you can run with, I have made a video prior to this one where I've covered the performance of Marvel's Miles Morales without an external GPU. So you will be able to see these settings properly in that video. I'm not going to be covering this in detail here, but some of these settings I have turned them on. So now that I've shown you everything that I'm running with, let's go over to Steam. Let's run this game and see how this performs. So I have my controller hooked up and I have enabled Steam input as well. By the way, I am playing at the performance TDP. The TDP has not been maxed out. And the one thing that I want to do also is play with MSI's Afterburner in the background so you get to see what kind of performance I am getting. Now, you do have an option of setting some settings from here as well. If my screen's too bright, let me just reduce the ISO so that you can just take a look at the screen properly. Now, if you take a quick note at the resolution that I'm playing with, it's 1440p. I am using AMD's FSR3 frame generation, and I do have dynamic resolution scaling set to 60. So I am using AMD's FSR3, and these are the settings that I am playing with. Now let's get into the game. I will show you some of the in-game settings as well. Let's quickly take a look at that. Okay, now my lights have been turned off because generally during the gameplay, I do tend to play with my lights off. Now let's get into the settings very quickly. And let's take a look at those display and graphical settings. As you can see, I'm playing at 1440p. Aspect ratio is auto. Let's quickly head over to frame generation. Yes, I have turned it on. I am playing with AMD's FSR3 as the upscale method. The dynamic resolution scaling has been kept at 60. And as far as graphical settings go, you would notice that I'm actually playing with high graphical settings. The shadow quality, of course, I've kept at medium. I have screen space ambient occlusion on, and even screen space reflections have been turned on. I obviously am not playing with ray traced reflections. Now, Radeon cards are not great with ray tracing, unfortunately. So, even for this game, I've turned it off. The level of detail, I've kept it at medium, and all the other settings have been kept on mainly high, like traffic density, crowd density, and even hair quality. But the weather particle quality I've kept at medium, and the depth of field I've kept on medium. Bloom, lens flare, chromatic aberration, vignetting, motion blur strength is 0, field of view is 0, and even film grain strength has been kept at 0. I also do not like overly sharpened images, so I've kept that at 5 instead of 10. It's at 10 by default, but I've kept it at 5. Just take a look at the screen right now, and I would want you to notice the FPS counter. It says that I'm getting around 90 FPS, close to that. And please note, this is 1440p, and that is incredible. The GPU memory, well, almost all of it is actually getting utilized, because if you take a look at the utilization, it's almost 100%. I am close to that 8 GB mark. Out of that 8 GB, it says that I'm using 7.5 GB almost. The CPU wattage in terms of the TDP is at 20 watts, but take a look at the GPU wattage. It's coming close to 100 watts there. And 90 FPS at 1440p on Spider-Man on the Legion Go. And that, my friends, is truly incredible. Let's take a look at some of the gameplay in action and see if it can actually sustain this or not. Well, so far, it says that I'm getting over 60 FPS, and I'm quite happy with that. Things look really sharp, guys. And even if you're playing this on a big screen, like mine, in this case, is a 55-inch TV, and I'm pretty happy with the performance. In these cutscenes, it's saying that I'm getting 135 FPS, guys. Well, ain't that fantastic? Please let me know in the comment section what you think about the performance. It is a game which has a lot of bright landscapes, and the city landscape is pretty bright during the daytime. That's why I've kept my camera ISO pretty low. Some scenes might look pretty dark, but personally it looks absolutely brilliant in person. Yes, of course. When I take a look at it through my camera monitor, then it looks a little dark, but hopefully it should correct itself because I'm recording in HDR as well. Oh, take a look at that, guys. I'm getting close to 90 FPS, and it's even crossing the 100 FPS barrier, guys. This is 1440p, mainly medium to high settings, and the RX 7600 MXT is actually a 1440p high card or a 1080p ultra card. Medium to high 1440p card, I would say. If you don't have ray tracing on, this performs incredibly well. And you're not going to be disappointed with this performance, guys. Please let me know in the comments section as to what you think about the performance so far, guys. The image quality is really sharp. At 1440p, this looks incredibly beautiful. Yes, of course, it's missing ray tracing. I wish it did have ray tracing. I am gonna try that on in a short bit as to how it negatively impacts the game, so that you take a look at the performance even with ray tracing turned on. But so far, guys, it's incredible. Whoa, take a look at that. Yeah, there was a performance dip there. I'm just gonna move around a little bit. I know that's the main task, but I want to move around a bit so that I just show you how it is to swing around in the city and what kind of performance you can draw out using the Haltech Alpha eGPU that I'm using with my Lenovo Legion Go. I have seen quite a lot of cutscenes as well. And let me tell you that even during the cutscenes, the performance is pretty solid. In fact, during the cutscenes, I think the performance, in fact, stays pretty stable at that 80 FPS mark. And here, in the gameplay areas as well, as you're swinging around the city, the FPS for most parts remains incredibly stable, and when I say stable, I mean at least above 60 FPS. I would consider anything above 60 FPS to be stable. If you can get more than that, beautiful. But yeah, if it goes below that, then yeah, for a fast-paced game like Spider-Man and for all the web-slinging action, I think anything less than 60 FPS would not be satisfactory. What are your thoughts? Again, please let me know in the comments section. Now, these buildings in the background, they're pretty shiny, and I think that's a one good way of testing out how this would probably do in terms of ray tracing performance. My ISO is extremely low. Let me turn up the ISO just a teeny weeny bit up, and let's keep it at 250. As you can see, guys, it looks mighty sharp. The motion is super smooth. Yeah, I love it. And you are going to love it as well. This is what you get when you connect your Legion Go with an external GPU. But now let's crank things up, okay? So let's go over to display and graphical settings. And now I'm going to try something which might take the game off the rails. That is turning ray tracing on. Okay, so I have turned ray tracing on. I'm still not going to turn ray traced shadows on. Rate reflection resolution, I'm going to try and reduce this because I don't know whether you noticed the dip in the performance as soon as I turned ray tracing on. It had a massive dip. It hadn't got down to less than 20. So here, I think the game is in fact stuck. So as soon as I turned ray tracing on, I have a hang. It's stopped functioning. So this is my controller. I'm moving it around. Nothing's happening. And this is what you get. So if you want to play with ray tracing turned on, I would suggest against it because you might not be able to play this game at all and you will run into issues like this. So I want to show everything pretty clearly, and I'm not editing this section out because I want you to see it as it is. So even with an external GPU, the Radeon 7600 MXT just cannot pull this off at 1440p. Maybe if I dial the resolution down right from the beginning, and if I then turned ray tracing on, maybe it would have still sustained itself. But right now, as it is, as you can see, this is a frozen screen, and it is what it is. So I want to get back into the game, and I want to show you how this performs. Of course, I'm not going to play this with ray traced reflections. I am going to turn it off. So I'll tell you what, guys, I've tried it the hard way and learned my lesson. Please do not turn ray tracing on even while you're connected to the Haltech Alpha eGPU because it just takes so much from the system that it will heat up your USB ports as well. So not only did my GPU disconnect itself, but even my external SSD disconnected itself. So the system runs so hot that it will constantly disconnect. So that is one thing that is happening here as well. As you're seeing right now, it is constantly disconnecting. Take it from me, guys. I've learned my lesson, and yeah, it just doesn't work well when you turn ray tracing on. In fact, I've had so many issues that I was not able to get this game to work again. So what I had to ultimately do is dial the resolution down to 600p, finally log into the game, turn ray tracing off, and I'm back in now. So I've learned it the hard way that you just can't play this game with ray tracing turned on your Legion Go with an external eGPU like the Haltech Alpha eGPU. I don't know if any of the other eGPUs will support ray tracing or not because there is the RX 7800M as well. So 1X GPU 2 has the 7800M, which is a comparatively more powerful GPU, but I don't have that. I have the RX 7600 MXT, and it just doesn't seem to be working well. Ray tracing, that is. But if you don't use ray tracing, then the game is gonna be absolutely fantastic in terms of the performance, because as you can see, I'm getting over 120, 130 FPS, guys. And this is at 1440p still. So the performance is insanely good when you're not using ray tracing. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to swing around a little more. I'm even going to go down to the city, and I'm going to run around a little as well. So let's see what kind of performance am I getting while I'm running around the city with all these people in the background, all these vehicles. Now, please keep in mind that the NPC count has been kept on high settings. So you get to see a lot of people in the background, a lot of vehicles also in the background. And just take a look at that performance counter, guys. It's performing really well. If you are getting over 60 FPS, you should be more than happy. And in this case, we're even crossing the 100 barrier. So more than 100 FPS is what you can actually get with your Legion Go in a game like Spider-Man Miles Morales at 1440p, medium to high settings. And what more can you ask for? Let's start swinging again. And just take a look at that brilliant performance, guys. Again, this is gloriously good. Swinging around the city has always been fun. And if you can do that at 1440p resolution, and if you can draw out more than 100 FPS, I mean, what more do you want with your Legion Go? Boy, oh boy, this is fantastic performance, guys. So this is Spider-Man Miles Morales, which has fared way better to Spider-Man 2. And even in my Spider-Man 2 video, I had mentioned about how this game simply runs much better on the Legion Go. So even if I was not using an external GPU, this still performs really well with AFMF 2.1 or even with lossless scaling. And if you're playing at a resolution of around 800p, you should really get good performance on your Legion Go even without an external GPU. So Legion Go on itself does pretty well when you're playing on a small screen. But obviously you can't play at 800p on a big screen like this. It will look pretty pixelated. And that's why there's a market for devices like the Haltech Alpha eGPU, which is an external GPU that you can simply plug and play on your Legion Go. So all you gotta do is just plug it in through the USB 4 port, and you get an immediate boost in performance with something like this hooked onto your Legion Go. And just take a look at it, guys. Incredibly, I've been swinging around and really having a great time with this game. But not so much with Spider-Man 2, although Spider-Man 2 also, for most parts, did give me that 60 FPS, but at a reduced resolution of 1200p. Even at 1440p, it gave me close to 50 FPS. It's not bad, but it's not as good as Miles Morales, guys, is what I'm trying to say. So this game comfortably can do over 100 FPS while swinging across the city. And in the cutscenes, it's a little more stable. And this is great performance, guys. Again, this is Spider-Man Miles Morales on my Lenovo Legion Go, connected to the Haltech Alpha eGPU, which comes with the Radeon RX 7600M XT, which has 8 GB of dedicated VRAM. And that's what I'm using as a primary GPU right now. And this is brilliant performance, guys. What do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments section, and we can chat about this in the comments. As far as this video goes, well, I would just call it quits here. But before I go, Hey, if you've liked the content, then I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like and subscribe button and also that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. Speaking of my videos, I do make videos like this. These are my Let's Play videos on the Lenovo Legion Go, hooked onto an external GPU. And apart from this also, I have a lot of Let's Play videos on Legion Go with AFMF 2.1 versus lossless scaling. I have a lot of gameplay videos. I have game reviews. I have unboxing and reviews of items or products related to gaming. And all you need to do to become a part of my community is hit that subscribe button, which is absolutely free. There is a paid option as well of joining my community as a member for as low as $1. And that'll give you access to all this content a bit earlier if you are a member to my channel. And that $1 a month would also help me fetch a cup of coffee every single month. And I thank you in advance for helping me with that. Now, irrespective of whether you join me as a member or a viewer, you obviously can view all my videos, and hopefully you can make the most out of your Legion Go through these videos of mine. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your love. And that's what keeps my channel growing and going. But it's a wrap for this one. I will see you lovely folks in my next video. Until that time, happy swinging, happy gaming, and take care, stay safe. May God bless you all.